Hi everyone, I'm back with another episode of my Little Big Year. I'm trying to see as many birds as possible in 2024 here on my home patch in eastern Massachusetts, the Horn Pond Recreation Area. Just a reminder of the ground rules for my Little Big Year. In order to count a species for the list, I need to obtain a photograph or some video of the bird and then show it to you here in these YouTube videos. My target is to reach 125 species by the end of the year, and as of the end of the last episode, the count stands at 65 species. So it's early May right now, and a lot of spring migrants are arriving, and I've got a lot to show you in this episode. But before we get into the new birds, I want to just give you a quick update on the mute swans that I showed in a previous episode. I think it was episode 2. And I mentioned that it looked like they were getting ready to nest. Well, indeed, that did happen. They nested close to the spot where I got the video. And as of a week ago, we have a family, as you can see here, with 8 cygnets. So that hatching was successful. And in fact, I looked up on the website all about birds on mute swans, and it says that the mute swans have clutches, which is the number of eggs in a nest, of between 2 and 5. So a 8-egg clutch, all of them hatched, is an impressive achievement. We can be proud of them, and it'll be interesting to see how they fare. It's going to be very difficult for them to raise 8 cygnets up to be full grown, and I suspect it will be down to 2 or 3 by the end of the year, but I'll update you occasionally on their progress. And not to make them feel left out, these mallards have also started a small family here, as you can see. There's a lot of breeding going on at Horn Pond. Okay, enough baby birds for now. Let's get into some new arrivals and some new birds for the list. First up is this Baltimore Oriole. We had several Orioles show up here on my home patch about a week ago, and it's always a lot of fun when they first show up because they're so active and loud, flying around and singing, and easy to photograph and easy to video. They are setting up their breeding territories. They will nest here, and one neat thing about Orioles is they make these hanging basket nests, which are really cool to look at, and I will try to find one of those at some point and show them to you in a future video. This Lincoln Sparrow was a nice find. As you can see, it was keeping a much lower profile than the Orioles I just showed you. Lincoln Sparrows are actually pretty uncommon in Massachusetts, and they're more likely to be seen during fall migration than spring migration, so this was a nice surprise. Lincoln Sparrows are closely related to song sparrows, and they can be difficult to separate. Lincoln Sparrows have a nice field mark, which is this buffy orange band across the chest with fine streaking on it that you can see in this video. The first warbler species for this episode is this black-throated green warbler. This is one of those warblers that likes to stay up high in the treetops, so you're always looking at it from below, usually at a large distance. It was nice to see this one and get some on video. I wasn't sure this was going to end up on my big year list because it's so difficult to photograph. Next up is a black and white warbler. This is one of the more common warblers seen in migration in this area. They can be seen at pretty much any height. This one, fortunately, was right around eye level, which is ideal for photography, obviously. Black and white warblers act a lot like nuthatches, the way they move up and down the tree trunks and the branches. And now we have the most common migrating warbler of all in the northeastern United States, the yellow-rumped warbler. At Horn Pond, it's not unusual to see 20 or more during the height of migration in a single walk. So the next bird was something a little different, and it was quite an interesting sighting, actually. I was just arriving in my car at my home patch and was looking for a parking space when a quite large, dark bird just flew across the path right in front of my car. So I pulled over to the curb and I jumped out with my camera, and I was able to find this turkey vulture perched up right at eye level, real close to me. I don't think I've ever seen a turkey vulture perched at eye level like this on my home patch or anywhere, actually, so it was actually pretty cool to see it. They're certainly different looking birds, you can say that. In case you're wondering, I didn't see any dead animals around that it was looking for, so I could obviously have missed something. So now back to the smaller birds. This is a male yellow warbler. Yellow warblers are breeders at Horn Pond, and they are currently very active and noisy, setting up their territories, and pretty easy to see right now. Rosebreasted grosbeaks are always a crowd pleaser in spring migration. This one was showing very nicely on an exposed perch, although it was a little bit windy and he's moving around quite a bit. They're also breeders here at Horn Pond, and I've already located at least one of their nests. Next up is one of the plainest birds in North America, the Warbling Vireo. They do make up for their very drab appearance with the happy little song that they sing all day long. They sing it so often that in the summertime and in the spring, when you're walking around Horn Pond, it just becomes part of the background noise and you kind of filter it out and don't even notice it. Catbirds have showed up, and they're one of the most common birds in all of northeastern Massachusetts once they arrive in the spring. I thought it was kind of funny how this catbird was foraging so vigorously. It actually looks like he's in a bad mood and he's angry. He's throwing the leaf litter around. Look how he picks up this big stick. Savannah sparrows are another species that can be mistaken for song sparrows. While they do look similar, Savannah sparrows are lighter overall, and they have this distinctive yellow eyebrow over the eye, which the song sparrow doesn't have. Ruby-crowned kinglets are common early spring migrants, but they are difficult to photograph because they're always bouncing around in the bushes and difficult to get the camera focused on them. I've been chasing them around for a couple of weeks trying to get decent photo and video, and I haven't really done too well, but I think this is good enough to add them to the list. One more sighting to show you is a Virginia rail that ventured out of the reeds and let me get some nice video. In the first clip, you can hear him call loudly, and then another one calls from behind in the reeds. I think this is a breeding pair, and that pretty soon we're going to have some baby Virginia rails running around, so that'll be fun. Okay, that wraps up this episode. We added 13 new species this time, bringing our total up to 78 species for the year. It's getting to be a pretty respectable total. It's still spring migration and a lot more birds are arriving, so I'm going to keep plugging away with my camera, and I'll be back real soon with another episode. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. See you next time.